on episode 486 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I will be talking about tonight's episode of WWE Monday Night RAW with the main event for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, Chad Gable vs. Gunther. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. Again, in case you're wondering why I'm saying again, is because I actually was late doing the AEW All Out War recap episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, so I actually just recorded it before this episode, in case you're wondering why I said that. And now on to this Monday episode. Gonna be talking about tonight's WWE Monday Night RAW. Live from Charlotte, North Carolina. Our commentators tonight, Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. And we start off things with Raw tonight with the newest Monday Night Raw superstar, Jey Uso, which he was brought back to WWE and Raw last Sunday night at Payback thanks to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. And we see Sami Zayn come out, talk about their history, go over that a little bit, and say, even though with the problems they had and everything, that he is happy that he is here, offers his hand to shake. Jey doesn't do it right away, and Sami says, that's alright. He starts to walk away, and then right when he's going through the ropes, Jey stops him and says, that's not very Usi of me, is it? And he puts his hand out. Sami goes back to him, doesn't shake his hand, but instead gives him a hug. And next up, we get a video package focusing on Shinsuke Nakamura and the World Heavyweight Championship match against Seth Rollins from Payback last Saturday night. And our first match on Monday Night Raw tonight. And by the way, I forgot to mention the Labor Day episode. Happy Labor Day, everyone. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle, the team of McRiddle, taking on the Viking Raiders. And at first, actually, Jey and Sami are walking up the ramp when McIntyre and Riddle are making their entrance. And Zayn mentioned this actually in his promo, that there are some that aren't too happy with him from his time with the Bloodline. Drew McIntyre comes out, doesn't look too happy with him, and Michael Cole mentions on commentary when Drew McIntyre challenged Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at Clash at the Castle. Of course, Jey Uso and his brother Jimmy got involved at the time to cost McIntyre the championship. Actually, I think that is when Solo Sikoa made his main roster debut. And also Matt Riddle kind of gives him a look like he's not too happy with him either. And Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle, or McRiddle if you want to call him that, take on the Viking Raiders in a tornado tag match. And not a bad match here. I thought it was alright. The Viking Raiders get the win when Kofi Kingston actually comes to the ring to help out Riddle and McIntyre. Before this, we saw the highlights of last week's Raw when Drew McIntyre went to throw the chair and accidentally hit Xavier Woods, which was why he was not on Raw tonight. And Kofi goes for the Trouble in Paradise and then accidentally hits Riddle instead. And the Viking Raiders double team Kofi Kingston, and they actually use him as a weapon to take out Drew McIntyre. And then they put Riddle through a table to get the win. Viking Raiders defeat Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle. Not a bad match at all. I'd give it 3 out of 5 ring bells. Next up, we have the World's Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, and he calls out Shinsuke Nakamura for a World Heavyweight Championship rematch, but Nakamura turns him down. He says no. So then Rollins leaves the ring anyway and takes the fight to Nakamura, and that is broken up. And now we have a match, Ricochet taking on Shinsuke Nakamura, which is won by Ricochet after Nakamura hits him with a chair, causing the disqualification. And then after the match, Seth Rollins comes back out and they get into it again. And Nakamura leaves Rollins lane. And next up, we have the Judgment Day in the ring with all their gold. The NXT North American Champion, Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, the women's the women's world champion, Rhea Ripley, after her successful title defense against Raquel Rodriguez at Payback, and the new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And we see J.D. McDonough make his way out, and he tells Priest that that briefcase has to go. And at first, Priest looks a little upset for him saying that. But then McDonough gives him a new Money in the Bank briefcase. And it says Senior Money in the Bank on it. I thought this was pretty good. I like the look of the new case. So this kind of makes me wonder, though, that since they went and changed the look of it, and now they're even selling replicas of it already on WWEshop.com, is that they might be having Damian Priest hold on to the Money in the Bank briefcase at least for a little longer, and they might not have any plans for him to cash in anytime soon, but we will have to wait and see on that. And which I don't mind, especially if they do wait quite a while before they have him cash in, and maybe get to the point where fans forget that he even has it. And so when he does finally cash in, it's kind of a surprise, and you weren't really expecting it when it happens. I think that might be a pretty good idea, actually, if they do that. And then we get Sami Zayn. He comes out and he challenges Dominic Mysterio, but then JD McDonough steps up, and tonight we will see JD McDonough go one-on-one with Sami Zayn tonight on Raw. And women's action up next, Shayna Baszler against Zoe Stark, which was caused, or set up, I should say, from an incident in the back earlier in the night. And Baszler gets the win with a submission when Stark passed out. Pretty good match here. I'd say 2.5 out of 5 ring bells. More women's action up next as Raw continues. Raquel Rodriguez taking on Chelsea Green. Raquel gets the win. And then she gets on the mic and says she talked to Adam Pearce. And she said she gets another Women's World Championship match against Rhea Ripley. But the only difference is that next time Dirty Dominic Mysterio is banned from ringside, so it will be one-on-one next week on Monday Night Raw. So we got that to look forward to, but I still see Rhea Ripley holding on to the title. And I mean, it's not that I don't like Raquel Rodriguez, but I think it's a better idea to leave the title on Rhea Ripley for longer and let her have a real good long reign with the title. Big fan of Rhea Ripley. And now it is time for Miz TV. The Miz is in the ring, and he says his guest tonight on Miz TV is none other than who was the special referee at Payback for his match against LA Knight. Yeah, sorry about that. But he introduces John Cena. We go to a close-up of the Titantron, but we do not see anybody come out. And then stays there for a little bit, and then we go back to the ring, and still don't see anybody. But then the Miz starts talking to an empty chair, and I'm sure everybody gets it. It's John Cena. You can't see him. And I thought this was actually quite entertaining. The Miz, I thought, was great here, acting like he was interviewing John Cena. And even at one point, he slaps John Cena in the face, or at least acts like he does, and then goes for a clothesline. The invisible Cena dunks, and The Miz hits an attitude adjustment, which very entertaining. To be honest, in my opinion, this could have been some of the most entertaining stuff we have seen from The Miz since the days when he had Damien Sandow as his stunt double, when he was doing the thing as Mizdow, where he would imitate all the stuff that The Miz was doing in the ring. He would do that outside of the ring. And I thought The Miz was great and very entertaining segment of Miz TV, or at least in my opinion, it was anyway. And next up, Sami Zayn taking on JD McDonough. And with some help from the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough defeats Sami Zayn. And also, before this though, I forgot to mention that we saw the Judgment Day in the back. Finn Balor tries to convince the rest of the Judgment Day that they should let JD McDonough be a part of Judgment Day. And Damian Priest says that he's still not really fully convinced. He asks Dominic, and he says, whatever you guys think. And then he asks his mommy, Rhea Ripley, what she thinks. And then Rhea says, let's just see what he does against Sami tonight. And I know I kind of went out of order there, but JD McDonough did get the win against Sami Zayn. So we will have to wait and see if JD McDonough does become a regular member of the Judgment Day. And next up, backstage, and we see Dirty Dominic Mysterio again, and he goes up to Jey Uso, and he talks about them being from broken families and all that. And he actually asks Jey Uso if he will join the Judgment Day. He says he will talk to the rest of them, and he says the Judgment Day will be there with open arms, and he tells them to think about it. I think this could be interesting. I think this could go on, say, probably next week, and I don't actually see Jey Uso joining, but I think this is pretty interesting so far since Jey Uso has been on Raw, even though it's been one night. And before Dominic talked to him, actually, Adam Pearce talked to Jey Uso, and he said since Jey Uso has now came over to Monday Night Raw, that a Raw superstar will have to be traded to Friday Night SmackDown. So he said some of the guys on Raw aren't going to be too happy with them. And now, time for the main event. And I just want to say, during the night, we had these different videos about maybe 3 or 4 times during the night, I think, focusing on the Intercontinental Championship and some of the great champions in WWE history, which I thought was very good. I like packages and stuff like when they focus on the history and things like this. And now it is time for the main event of this week's Monday Night Raw for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Chad Gable challenging Gunther, and I have to admit, a really great main event tonight on Raw. Gable and Gunther, they put it all out there, and I really enjoyed this match. Gable, they did a really good job of making it look like that he could defeat Gunther in this main event. But then in the end, Gunther defeated Chad Gable to retain the Intercontinental Championship. And at the end of the match, it's kind of sad because after he pins Gable, we get a close-up of one of Chad Gable's daughters who is in the front row, and she starts crying. And like I said, kind of sad. And Raw goes off the air with Gunther celebrating in the ring with the IC title. Great main event on Raw tonight. I say 4.5 out of 5 ring bells I'm going to give it. I was a big fan of this main event. And that was tonight's WWE Monday Night Raw. I'd say actually was, in my opinion, quite a really good show. I enjoyed most of it. And the stuff with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn coming out after that. And the stuff with Judgment Day, JD McDonough, Sami Zayn. The Miz TV segment, which I thought was quite entertaining. And then the great main event between Chad Gable and Gunther. I thought it was actually quite an entertainment episode of Monday Night Raw tonight. So overall, as a show, I'd have to say I might have to give it 8.5 out of 10 ring bells altogether. I really enjoyed it tonight. Very good episode of Raw. I definitely recommend, if you haven't seen it, to check it out. Very good. And that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Once again, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. And hope everyone had a great Monday. Hope everyone enjoyed Raw. Remember, if you have any questions, comments, or anything, you can leave your feedback on tonight's Monday Night Raw. But not just that, but also WWE Payback from Saturday, and also AEW All Out from last night. And or any suggestions you have or anything. And that's it. Hope to be back with more new episodes this week right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic. But I will be back tomorrow morning for the Tuesday episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Hope all you will be here too. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.